Hey everybody, Andrew with FindYourFuels.com back again to be of help to you today. And today we're talking about pH don't, which requires a little bit of head movement obviously to say because it's so ridiculous. But it's called pH don't because we're talking about bad prescriptions. And with the analogy of a doctor, if you went into your doctor and you had some leg pain, like it's been bothering you, you haven't been able to walk as well, and you walk in and they're like, head cold, seen it a million times. They're like, have you even looked at my leg? Do you know why I'm here? No, trust me, I'm a doctor, sir, or ma'am, and I know exactly what's wrong with you, and I'm going to prescribe this rigorous regimen of medicine, and we're going to have you do some arm exercises, because that can help out as well, and you definitely do not have a leg problem. Here's my prescription. I will not speak to you again until you do as I say. Of course, this would be ridiculous, but how many times obviously have we felt that with past coaches or teachers or managers or leaders of any kind, that when to the degree that we feel their prescription is off, even if it's just a little bit, as the old illustration goes, if the plane is off by 1 degree from the east coast of the country, they could be states apart by the time they get to the west coast. And if you plan on staying around anywhere for a long time with a career, that really can have some bad effects, especially in the short term, as we'll talk about. So let's think about that. And I'll do the most terrible thing possible and use myself as an example. But I felt it very strongly, so I'll be able to speak from experience. When it comes to my fuels results, we break it up into knowledge work, customer service, leadership, and production, because those really encompass a lot of activity in the working world. I have a very strong leadership column. Whether it's selling or leading, this column usually is attributed to feeling something so deeply, being able to, it's actually motivating to others, that you're adding some of your oomph to them, and therefore they're able to do more with you involved, that you're adding to their momentum. Now, having that strong column, most entry-level, mid-level jobs that I could find that were well-suited in theory, to me were sales. But without that one little bit of difference that shows up in my result, which is coach, that changes everything. Because when you look at me, unfortunately, and I've had many people confirm this, as soon as I enter the room, the first thought is, what's this guy trying to sell? Okay, he's pretty bombastic, and he's got that smile, and he's, okay, what do you want? And when I say I actually don't want anything, they're like, BS. That's there's no way you don't want me to do something different. And of course it's like, well, yes, I do want you to do something different, but I'm not here to sell you anything. Unless the addition is I'm a coach, I want to greatly know your greatest goals, and my hope is that there's something I know or I have connection to that can help you reach those goals. That makes my heart sing. That's what I am. I'm a coach. It's a little bit different. Coaches get you to do things you wouldn't do outside of their presence, as do salespeople. Now, the need for a coach many times is less than the need for a salesperson. But the more people would try to coach me as a pure salesperson, regardless of product, the more it went off. You see, and the confusion would come from both sides until I understood that myself. They'd say, Andrew, what's wrong with you? We see this great salesperson. People are magnetized to you, and they, you definitely show up whenever you're in a room, and we want to put that to work for us. And I'm initially magnetized towards their goals. But whenever I see that their goals are not matching the customer's goals, I switch to the customer's goals, because I'm all about helping people find their goals. And if it means helping somebody else not achieve their goal, I don't know if I can do that. If you want me to go out and sell your product and your product does not help the customers meet their goals, I'm sorry, what was once a fantastic salesperson and a leader in your company is now pretty much useless, because for me, the prescription had to include coaching. It had to have a flavor of helping people achieve their goals. Now, I've talked to myself ad nauseum, but we need to apply this to you. And especially to you as leaders, followers. If you feel that there's a bad prescription, you're human. You're probably right. And the more your leaders push you to produce while not understanding the actual tangible problem, there's going to be problems. and leaders as well. Of course, it applies to you that if you're not getting to know your people, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to be souring that relationship extensively. Because I can show you, if you ever stop into my office, what a statistical anomaly each of us are. Not just in the characteristics that we bring to the working world, but that priority of characteristics that flow along the service matrix, that it's all over the map. And for me to ask you to do what I've done the way I've done it is foolishness. It's a guaranteed failure. And I'm not going to wax philosophical, but I haven't found anything better that kind of illustrates it. And it's one of the most ancient tales of murder and intrigue. And of course, I'm talking about Cain and Abel. And what's fascinating about this, regardless of your beliefs or your faith, what's fascinating about that is that the guy just killed his brother. And the story goes that the almighty king of the universe looks at this situation and does not say an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, now you have to die. He says, go build a city. I will curse your existence, that the only way you can make money is through more people. The only way you will be able to survive is with other people around you. Now, Cain's name in that language means getting stuff, acquisitiveness. So it was the punishment fitting the crime that this individual, even though they just killed a guy, even though black and white, here is the crime, the punishment with deeper insight as to what was the motivating factors actually brought about not only change, but something even better. Because when he killed his brother, and there was a talk with the Almighty as the story goes, and he cursed him in the way he did, not only did he immediately get married and have a kid, and name his kid Enosh, which means I've learned my lesson, but that's what he also named his first city. It was either Enosh or Enoch or something like that. But basically whatever that was in my terrible English pronunciation, it meant I've learned my lesson. So the punishment didn't fit the crime in our minds because it's like he killed the guy, so you have to die. But having a deeper insight, a better prescription as to what were the motivating factors for that individual, it actually unleashes the best response possible. He thought that by killing somebody else, he would have more. Instead of splitting the inheritance of the world between the two sons, he thought he could have it all by killing his brother, when in fact he learned the lesson that if you want more in life, you need more people around you. That's why people in cities flourish so much better than people in the country. There's just less people to interact with and less value to be created through relationship and service. So a bit of a long-winded example, but I think it's important for you guys to realize that there is value to understanding the contributing factors for the individual. As we're leading them, as we're guiding them, as they're coaching them, we need to understand not just what they're producing, the things that we can see plainly, but what is producing that. What is the internal motivation? What gets this person out of bed in the morning? Because even 3 of our characteristics in the productivity column, initiative, momentum, and accomplishment, one really loves getting projects started, one really loves keeping projects going and building up steam, and one really loves just getting stuff done. And if those were just one characteristic people, you would have them as a workforce and you'd be always spending your time berating 2 of them if you spread out their duties equally. And they all had the same job and the same duties along that process. You would always be celebrating one for their hard work and dedication and commitment while berating the other 2 simply because they're less engaged in that phase of development. But if you really had multiple projects going, and you can have, in an ideal world, if you could have one person be the startup person who does the difficult work of getting things started from nothing, and you had another person who can then take that momentum and build up steam and keep it rolling and just go through the production phase of it. And then you had someone who was fantastic at tying up all the loose ends, that getting stuff done, getting the thing in the box, making sure everything's perfect, right where it needs to be. You could probably start to single out everyone's position to their specific traits, and then the prescriptions are that you're understanding that you are great at startup, you are great at continuing, you are great. I'm not joking. Maybe I should have my thumbs out instead of in. Joking. You are great at finishing things up. You're great at tying up all the loose ends, crossing every T, dotting every I. And now instead of spread out duties and having work duties that are aligned to personal talent, crazy idea, they're not engaged 30% of the time and disengaged 60% of the time, or 33 and 67, whatever, all you detail people out there. But anyways, the moral of the story is the internal motivations matter. And without knowing those internal motivations, we can give a lot of bad prescriptions, which is a PH don't. Hope that's been a help. Hope you leave some comments if you like it literally, and share it with friends. That helps spread the conversation and increase the movement of people who are putting their personality to work and seeing the world made a better place. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon.